Slight injuries and widespread damage caused by a £500 bomb in Banbridge. Mixed reaction to the release of paramilitary prisoners from Portlaoise prison. And after a replay and extra time, Galway defeat Roscommon to win the Connacht final. Good evening. Part of the centre of Banbridge has been extensively damaged in a car bomb explosion. 8 people, including 2 RUC officers, were injured in the blast. None was seriously hurt. A warning of the bomb was given, but police were still evacuating hundreds of Saturday afternoon shoppers when the device went off. The Northern Secretary, Mo Mowlam, said a tragedy had only narrowly been averted.
The bomb in Banbridge contained about £500 of explosive packed into a car abandoned outside a row of shops at Newry Street in the town centre. The explosion wrecked several nearby buildings and property over a wide area suffered blast damage. A major fire started in one shop, but firemen managed to prevent the blaze spreading along the street. Banbridge was packed with Saturday afternoon shoppers when a 20-minute bomb warning came. The police were still evacuating the town centre when the bomb exploded, and 8 people, 2 of them RUC officers, were treated for cuts and shock, although none were seriously injured. A senior police officer described this bombing as an act of sheer madness. He said the perpetrators had no regard for the safety of the public or for anyone else.
To plant a car bomb and leave us with a warning of approximately 20 minutes is an act of gross and absolute insanity, in my opinion.
It's another diabolical act by the perpetrators of terrorism, and on a Saturday afternoon, a pleasant Saturday afternoon in Banbridge, to bring in a bomb of this nature, which has apparently devastated the whole town centre, is Mo Mowlam's answer to releasing terrorists.
This attack, like the fire bombings in Portadown a few days ago, are being blamed on dissident Republican paramilitaries. But whoever was to blame, the incidents will do little to calm increasing unionist fears about the peace process in general and the issue of early prisoner releases in particular. Brendan Wright, RTE News in Banbridge.
There has been condemnation by some unionist politicians of last night's release of 6 IRA prisoners from Portlaoise jail. The DUP Deputy Leader Peter Robinson accused the Irish and British governments of capitulating to terrorists. But the releases have been welcomed by Sinn Féin Ard Comhairle member Martin Ferris, who said the British government should now begin the process of releasing all the prisoners of the conflict.
Granted temporary release to attend the Sinn Féin Ardèche last May, where he shared the stage with the Balcombe Street gang, Michael O'Brien was one of the 6 prisoners freed from Portlaoise jail at 10:30 last night. O'Brien, the IRA's officer commanding at the jail, was serving an 18-year sentence for attempted murder. Also freed was Vincent Wood, who had served 6 years of a 17-year sentence for possession of explosives. 3 of the prisoners released had been transferred from jails in Britain. 4 others were released in addition to Michael O'Brien and Vincent Wood. They were Michael Cully, jailed for 12 years in February for possession of guns and explosives found on his uncle's farm in County Laois. Adrian Donnelly, who was serving a life sentence for murder and attempted murder. Simon Maxwell, who had served 2 years of a 6-year sentence for possession of explosives. And Frank Burke, jailed for 4 years for membership of the IRA. Sinn Féin predictably have welcomed the releases, but they've been condemned by those unionists opposed to the Good Friday Agreement.
It is obscene and it is immoral. It is clearly a justification of the Provisional IRA's campaign of violence. Actually, terrorism has succeeded. People are literally getting away with murder.
It's the usual rhetoric of certain elements within unionism. It's consistent. The main part of the vocabulary is no, and they haven't moved beyond that.
27 Republican prisoners eligible for early release under the Good Friday Agreement remain in Portlaoise prison. The first of a total of 400 prisoners, both Republican and Loyalist, due for release in Northern Ireland over the next 2 years, are expected to be freed from the Maze prison in September. Aoife Kavanagh, RTE News.
A meeting of the Orange Order leadership in Belfast ended today with no major changes to the Order's strategy on contentious parades. 150 delegates spent more than 4 hours reviewing their strategy over parades along the Garvaghey Road in Portadown and other nationalist areas. There was no official statement issued after the meeting, but on leaving, delegates said the order stood full square behind the demands of their members in Portadown to walk down the Garvaghey Road.